Hey everyone, welcome to another video. This video is going to be very exciting because it's going to be on a new Clionadh and Emily Violet Marie. I hope I said it correctly. Yes, it's Emily Violet Marie. They did a collaboration and they came out with the Dragon Fruit collection. I got the eyeshadow palette and one of the highlighters and I'm very excited to show it to you and share my thoughts. And I also have two looks for you in this video. Let's get right into it. So first, here we have the eyeshadow palette, the Dragon Fruit palette. And I actually thought that the story behind this collection was very interesting, was pretty cool, because apparently Emily Violet Marie, I haven't watched her, but apparently she did a video talking about launches she hoped would be launched, like makeup products that she hoped would come into existence, and this palette was part of it. Clionadh saw it and was like, let's make that palette together. So I think that is very cool. So the cardboard packaging, the outer box packaging is this bright kind of pinky purple color, very cool. And then on the inside of the box we actually have these kind of seeds and then the white background, and it looks like the inside of a dragon fruit. I don't think I've ever had dragon fruit. I don't think I've ever tasted it, but I think this is a very cool touch. And then the actual palette I think looks very cool. I am a sucker for this kind of almost see-through looking acrylic packaging. This isn't exactly see-through, but it just gives me summer vibes. Something about this gives me summer vibes. Also, the Nabla highlighters and blushes from the Skin Glazing line, that packaging really pulls me in, and this gives me the same vibes. I'm so into it. And then the actual color story is also very fun and summery, very cute. We have a lot of different bright shades in here. This just gives me all these summer vibes. I just love the packaging. I think the color story is very interesting. It leans a bit pinky, but I do love some pink. And I think there are some interesting shades in here, some interesting options in here, some interesting things to combine. And I think it's a pretty good deal for all these interesting shades. And I'm just really into this idea of Clionadh getting into palettes. I'm really into that because with their singles I get overwhelmed, and I've been wanting to buy more, but I keep getting kind of overwhelmed and then I don't end up buying it. And this was just so easy because we have all the shades together. I think this is a stunning looking palette. I think it is gorgeous. It just gives me the exact vibes that I want for summer. So that is why I was really excited to try it out, to pick it up. I also got one of the Fruitlighters. There are two shades of this. I got the one that's kind of like a bit more wearable, a little bit more light, a little bit more up my alley. I am curious if it's gonna be for me because I don't always love a shimmery highlighter, but I thought this looked very beautiful in the photos. Once again, we have the same packaging with the dragon fruit inside on the inside, and then the Fruitlighter packaging is pretty like sleek and compact, also in that kind of see-through acrylic, which I love, with the color like this really bright pink. This, by the way, is the Tropico multi-chrome highlighter, and then in the pen it looks like this, and it's kind of like a pink to gold, but there's some green in it as well, which makes it a little bit more interesting. But let's see how wearable this actually is. When I swatched it, the formula of this felt very similar to the actual eyeshadows in the palette. So we'll see if this is really gonna work as a highlighter or if it's gonna look more like a stripe of eyeshadow. I'm gonna be careful when applying this. So I already did a look, a very cute, a kind of bright pink look. I'm gonna show you that first. I'm just gonna put some music under it and you can just look at it, see what I did. And then now I'm just gonna do another look with some different shades. I zoomed in a little bit. I already put on some eye primer, and I was thinking of going a little bit outside of my comfort zone and going into the bright greens. As you saw, the first look was a very pink leaning, and yeah, I'm just thinking I want to try the greens and see how that works. With the palette you get this little pamphlet that tells you what the formulas are, and one of the greens, the one in Dragonfly, so the more grass green one, is the metallic formula, and then we have the velvet satin formula, and that is, I don't know if I want to say I don't know if I want to try and say this word, Spciy. It's probably not that, but I tried. I don't know what it means. Okay. So this shade is a velvet satin and this one is a metallic formula. So I'm gonna go with this one first and then probably add in this one, maybe a little bit of that one. Like these three I haven't really touched. The rest I've kind of gone into. There's not a lot of depth in this palette, so that is something to keep in mind. But I think for me this palette is gonna be a little bit of a... It's gonna be a bit of a companion palette. Wait, am I taking the metallic now or am I taking the... No, I'm taking the right one, but it looks metallic. It doesn't look like a velvet satin. It definitely looks metallic. Still pretty though, but don't expect any matte kind of shades in this palette. So I'm just applying this to the outer corner, even though it's not really a deepening up shade. It's not really a shade where you can expect to get some shadow, but we'll see how this goes. It's a pretty shade. It works well. It works well with the brush. It picks up well. It blends like... It's easy to put on. Now I'm just gonna go into... By the way, this is such a squeaky palette. I'm gonna go into the shade called Dragonfly, which I think is gonna be my favorite of the two greens. Very, very bright. This is a metallic one. I'm not even gonna go back into the palette because it's so pigmented. And a little goes a long way. At this point I'm just experimenting a little bit. I feel like in the first look I did the look that I had in mind, like the vibe that I had in mind. Now I'm just gonna go outside of my comfort zone a little bit. Okay, now I want to go into the shade called Fruit Fizz, and this shade is also a little bit outside of my comfort zone, at least combined with these kinds of shades. I don't really wear orangey shimmers that much, but when I do, I try to combine them with shades that I feel really flatter me. So let's see what happens if I combine this with these shades. This is a little bit of a green flip, so that makes them easier to combine. I guess that's also the reason why they are next to each other. I'm just tapping in the middle a little bit to make sure that these shades blend. But I don't want to overblend because I think that's gonna look a little bit muddy. Just gonna take that brush with the green and tap that here. Yeah, at this point I don't really wanna add in other palettes, but that's probably something I'm gonna do in the future. I see myself doing that. Okay, now I'm gonna go back into the shade called Dragonfly. I'm gonna put that on the lower lash line. By the way, it's so hot out today. It was so hot out today. Now it's a bit better, but it's still really, really hot in this apartment. So all my windows are open. Usually I try to close them so you don't hear everything like outside on the street. But now I have no choice, and it is of course beautiful. It was beautiful weather outside, so people are out and about, walking around, talking, throwing glass on the floor or something. People are always pretty loud, but it's just something I have to live with while I'm living here, and so sometimes so do you. I think this looks interesting. It's a very light shade to put on the lower lash line. I think this is gonna look better once I've put on some mascara to ground the look a little bit. Maybe I can also use some eyeliner. I think I'm just gonna do something that I might regret, but I just want to try it out. So I'm gonna take this darkest purple. I'm just gonna take a little bit and see if I can deepen this up. And this is an experiment, like totally fully an experiment. I'm not telling you that I think I know what I'm doing, because I don't know. That looks really deep. Maybe a bit deeper than what I wanted, but I did want to ground this look a little bit. It's a bit of an interesting palette to do a full look with. I'm now just gonna take a little bit of Dragonfly again and just put that towards the front here, because I feel like it became a little bit too deep. I'm gonna take a little bit of the purple on this side. Yeah, I feel like I should have taken less to start with on the other side, because I like this side better, but now I have to kind of match them, so I still have to take more. I don't know if I would really recommend it, but it's not bad on this side. Just gonna grab the brush that I use for the greens and blend this. Just taking a little bit more of the lime, the one with the name I do not wish to pronounce anymore. Feel like this is kind of working out. Now with the layering, it looks a bit better. For the inner corner, I'm gonna go into the shade called Effervescent. I'm gonna start in the inner corner, but probably wrap it around a little bit. I really like this shade. I already used it in the other look, and there's just something to me about kind of neutral, multi-chrome special shades that I'm really into. I feel like we need more of that. Like, the neutral people also want multi-chromes. I do like the choice of the bigger shades. Can you hear that? I think there was some soccer or football game in the city and now they are singing really loud, but I'm just gonna continue with this video. I'm sorry, I don't have time. I waited for a long time today until it cooled off a little bit. So this is what we're dealing with. Okay, I don't absolutely love it on myself right now, but I think that's more because of the shades than the formulas, because I think everything worked well, but it's just a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup except the highlighter, and then we're gonna apply it together. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I just went all in with the color. I really went for it. I grabbed a little bit of a burnt orange lipstick, and it's definitely outside of my comfort zone. These types of shades, it's a bit different for me. But let's get into this highlighter. I'm really curious to see if I will like it, because it is so similar in formula to the eyeshadows, and the eyeshadows are so pigmented. Okay, for the highlighter, I'm gonna grab this more fluffy brush by Lunar Beauty, because I think this one is gonna make the application a little bit more diffuse, not as opaque. So let me just take a little bit on my brush. I'm just gonna go in like 2 little taps, and then... Okay, that is green. That is definitely green. There is no mistaking it. And it is definitely shimmery, but there's something very interesting about it as well. Kind of like it, but with things that are really different from me, for me, it's always a bit hard to tell right away how much I really like it. By the way, this is the first multi-chrome highlighter that I've tried, so that's also something I maybe have to get used to a little bit. Yeah, it's really shimmery. Blending this out a little bit. Not that it's gonna look very natural, but can give it a shot. Blending. I just have to grab a brush to blend this in a little bit. I'm just gonna take my blush brush and kind of go over this. Tap over it a little bit. See what happens then. This definitely diffuses a little bit. It makes it look a little bit less crazy. But it definitely is a colorful highlighter. I don't know if you can really tell on camera. Like, you can tell there's kind of like this yellowy green sheen to it. I feel like the base is more pink, but then when you turn your head, it's definitely the yellowy green. You know what? I kind of like it. I quite like it. It is a product where I'm like, when am I gonna wear it? It's definitely not to the office, but there's still something interesting and kind of wearable about it. Like, I could wear this to a party and not feel weird about it. It is just, it's very shimmery and it definitely has those different shifts to it. I did apply it a little bit more subtly, like a little bit more subtle, but you can definitely see the glow, the shine. There's a lot of shimmer on my cheeks. I think if I would apply this a little bit more opaque, then it would definitely be like a little bit of a stripe of eyeshadow on my cheeks. But yeah, that is the highlighter. Alright, so this is the finished look. It's a bit much for me, like orange and green, it's a bit much. But I went for it. I made this choice, I went for it. And I have some thoughts about these products. First up, the eyeshadow palette, the star of the show. I really love it. I think the packaging is really cool. I love the shades in here. I think I've tried everything and they are very shiny, very shimmery, very pigmented. We have a lot of options here. Of course, you don't have the mattes. You have a lot of like pinky shades, so it's definitely a pinky palette, but I love pinks, so I'm really into this. I just love it for what it is. I know I'm probably gonna combine this with other palettes, maybe pick 2 or 3 shades out of this, but I really just like this combination of sparkly shades. Just the options you have here. It's a really great way also to try more of Clionadh. I'm really into it. I really like it. It's not a standalone palette for me. I'm not gonna probably use it on its own all the time. But for what it is, I really like it. The quality is great. The vibe is great. The price of this is pretty good. I also got it in pretty fast. So I'm happy with this. And I also think that this look became very interesting. Like the purple, deepening up the greens with the purple kind of looks cool to me. Then we also have the Fruitlighter. I quite like it. It has a sparkle to it. It is of course a multi-chrome highlighter. It's not gonna be that natural. I knew that going in, but I actually quite like it. This product was definitely a little bit of a risk. I didn't know if I was really gonna enjoy this, but I like how my cheeks look, and the longer I look at them, the more I actually like it. And I think it is more wearable than some sparkly highlighters that I've tried. And with that I mean the ones from, what's it called, Etos. Like the one from Etos was so sparkly, but this is like a pretty good formula. I quite like it. The shade is nice. Maybe I can get used to it a little bit, like warm up to it a little bit and feel less crazy when wearing this. But yeah, that was everything for this video. That was everything I wanted to try out in this video. I really enjoyed this collection. I had so much fun playing with this. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and also let me know if you picked up anything from this collection. I would love to hear your opinion, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.